Welcome back to House TV Live. I'm Rick Spence, and with me today is Susan Yaley with Susan Yaley Homes out of beautiful Bloomington, Indiana. And we have a marvel of mid-century design, the craftsmanship and the beauty and some of the playfulness. I imagine this was just like a magical experience for you to work in this home.
It was. It was such a pleasure. The homeowner is from Bloomington originally, moved away and purchased this home. It belonged to her mom's best friend when she was growing up. So she's been in this home lots of times, and it was a little bit of a homecoming.
So let's step inside. You're immediately greeted by lots of warmth and wood and these beautiful slats that give you a little peek of what's about to happen.
That slat wall was a wall originally. So we wanted a little more visual access to the dining space. And that's part of the reason why we chose that slatted effect first when you walk in. The solid wall, it was a little bit of an affront when you first walked in. So we opened it up a little, but kept the division of space as it was.
So let's go into the living area. And this is just like, whoa, this is like the wow factor. It seems like a lot of custom pieces in here. And I love the balance of the angles with curves. So walk me through this incredible space here.
Yeah, absolutely. This space is really a pristine representation of the original home. So part of the wow factor of this room was not us, it was the original designer of the home. And that layout of that space with the windows and the fireplace was one of the things that was clearly important to preserve in this space. So they are new windows and new paneling, but the openings are original and the fireplace is all original. We put a new insert in, but everything about that limestone fireplace is original. They didn't want a television, happily, because the television would have made the space harder.
Yeah.
So we instead were able to capitalize on the fireplace as the focal point. We crafted that sofa. It's a custom sofa with a wedge end so that you can lie on the sofa and have your feet propped up against the warmth of the fireplace. That sofa's custom. The other upholstery pieces in that room are vintage. The most special piece is the Papa Bear chair, which is the white one, and that's an original Papa Bear. We love purchasing vintage because we feel that it lowers our carbon footprint and it's got really wonderful soul, of course. But we also don't want to buy something vintage that comes from really far away. So this one, as it turned out, was in the middle of Illinois, and then we reupholstered it in fabric from the original fabric house that did the Papa Bear chairs.
Love it. Tell me about the millwork. It looks like some incredible millwork around the entire space in terms of the grain, too.
Yeah, it's a continuous grain. So those panels, the veneer is crafted here locally in Bloomington, and they were created and installed by a local team also in Bloomington that also did all the cabinetry. And they are rift sawn white oak, and they were numbered panels. So the panels only come so big. They're approximately the size of a piece of plywood. So we had to figure out where those seams would be. And then we had to actually paint a black grid on the wall so that when there's that little reveal between panels, you don't see unfinished white wall behind it. You get the effect of a shadow. So there was a lot of thought and a lot of collaboration among the trades and the designers to figure out how do these panels come together and where and what happens behind them. And indeed, when the panels arrived, they were numbered such that you had to keep track of them and install them in just the right order so that the grain was all going to match up. So if you screwed one up, you had to do some thinking about what you were going to do to replace it. So you can imagine also hanging art on it was a little harrowing because here we go, let's drill a hole in the middle of this panel. Everybody works so hard.
Oh, man, I would not. Oh, yeah. Oh, can you move that just to the right a little? Can you? Oh, I can only imagine. Yeah. Speaking of the art, I love the little art, the very sort of organic 3D piece. That's beautiful. Tell me about that little piece of artwork with the bird.
Yeah, absolutely. I've seen pieces by that artist for years because she's local. Her name is Martina Sellerin, and she does these three-dimensional weavings of all types. And they're also tactile. They're whimsical in their subject matter. They're just wonderful.
Let's go into the dining space and walk me through this beautiful black table.
One of the client's favorite mid-century designers is Paul McCobb. So that's a Paul McCobb table and Paul McCobb chairs. They were refinished here locally. So those are all original mid-century antiques. The light is a mid-century Sputnik brass chandelier, and it is vintage.
Okay, let's step into the kitchen. Now I notice in here the countertop's very thin. It's a very thin
Hmm.
countertop, right?
It is.
So give me a feel for the choices in here and why this work. Is part of that because the spaces, these are smaller spaces in general throughout the home. Does that
Yeah.
help with that scale?
Yeah. Good eyes there. You have good eyes. That's a 2 centimeter rather than a 3 centimeter quartz top. So we really wanted to give them the functionality of a really modern kitchen. Like the rest of the house, it's white and wood. But you'll see that even in this space, we brought in art. And in fact, in this space, we brought in huge art. So we do often try to make kitchens a backdrop because life happens in a really heavy way in kitchens. And life is colorful, literally and figuratively. And so we want this space to sort of recede just a little bit to make way for both life and, in this case, really great art.
Tell me about the horizontal light over the countertop. Really cool.
So this is a piece that is not vintage. It's custom made in Brazil. It works on a balance system. Sometimes it can be a bit tricky to balance.
Okay. Do you want to tell me a little bit about your approach to mixing metals in a space and the hardware that you used in the space?
Yeah, our approach is pro. So the ways you do that is to push envelopes and mix things in unexpected ways. So if we're going to put in, black and gold sconces above the windows, we want to make sure those colors are balanced across the room. So we always say that brass doesn't necessarily need to balance with other brass. It can balance with leather and with wood. Those warm, natural materials can all balance one another. Wicker is a good one too. And black, of course, can be balanced then with lots of different dark materials. You can have a black metal that balances with a dark stained wood that balances with the, black lamp base or the black shadow lines between all the wood panels. We don't want, a metal to be lonely, the only element in the space that's doing what it's doing. We want it to be talking to other things in the space, but it doesn't have to be a literal, brass here, brass over here, brass over here.
All right, let's go into this suite, this primary suite. Just a beautiful space.
So they added on an addition in the back. So it added quite a lot of square footage, functional square footage to the house. So you will perhaps notice that these windows reflect the shape and character of the windows in the living room that were original to the house, because we wanted a sort of an echo of the front room back in this bedroom.
Makes total sense. So walk me through some of the choices and the pieces in the space.
The rug, the wood paneling, all of that serves to make it feel intimate and cozy with all these warm elements that ground you. So the bed is custom. That's a Fornasetti pillow. I love that gal. Telling you to be quiet. It's time to go to bed. The bench, the dresser that is under that Wyatt Legrand painting, and the 2 nightstands are all vintage, and the little chair in the corner. So the chair in the corner is actually by Edward Wormley for Dunbar. And Dunbar, this chair was made in Indiana back in the middle part of the century. So we found that and had it recovered in a lovely wool fabric. But that's kind of a nice connection to Indiana as well. Harvey Prober did the pair of bedside tables. John Stewart did that little bench, which came in a beautiful sort of light blue mohair. And we were loath to get rid of that light blue mohair, but it just didn't work in the scheme. So we replaced it with a brown.
Sometimes when people think of modern homes, they may look at it and think of it as more utilitarian, but they're actually quite warm.
When you walk into a space like this that has these rich textiles and colors and wood all over the walls and light coming through the windows, it's a palpable feeling of warmth.
Okay, so let's keep going here. So let's go into this beautiful bathroom. It's a lot more bright, a lot more white. The paneling's there, but it's a little bit more minimal. Makes a lot of sense.
This room was designed to work in the same palette as the ensuite bedroom. So you'll see that it's wood, white, black, and sort of a goldy yellow color. So again, the bit of gold that's mostly in the floor tile in here is tying to the wood paneling and also back to that fin jewel cabinet that has the yellow and white drawers and the closet that has the yellow and white drawers. So we've got that just a little bit of color, but it's mostly a very quiet ensuite quarters.
Were the wall mount faucets a function of space or aesthetic in here?
It would have accommodated a deck mount faucet. So it was partly just aesthetic, like you said. One of the things about a deck mount is that it can kind of collect more grime when it's on a horizontal surface.
Yep.
So it is a little bit easier to maintain and keep clean when you put it on the wall. But for the most part, yeah, it's an issue of aesthetics.
And we have some water art in here.
We do. That's a Maggie Taylor. Maggie Taylor is a contemporary photographer. She does fantastical things. We have other Maggie Taylors in this house as well. And Maggie Taylor's stuff is just fantastic. Every bit of it looks like a fairy tale. If this were a bathtub that was used by children or dogs or even adults really, really regularly, we might not have put such a wonderful piece of art above it.
So tell me a little bit about Houzz and Houzz Pro and how you use it, how it's impacted your business.
So before there was ever a Houzz Pro, we were sharing imagery with our clients because it provides a space where I can make a comment and ask a question and they can jump right in and say, yes, I love that. Or, you know what I really love about that is the green monkey tile, but I don't really so much love the white countertop or whatever. Mm-hmm. So it provides a place for us to have that communication and it's saved and you can go back and, revisit it. So Houzz has been part of our process for years. And when Houzz Pro came along, it was quite logical for us to also start using that platform. And in fact, I have Houzz Pro pulled up on my computer right now to reference the room boards, which have every single thing specified so that I can remember, oh yeah, that's from Good Press Ceramics in Seattle. And oh yeah, that designer is such and so, and that tile is from so and so, because it's all there. And I mean, this project's been done for 2 years. So it was all entered into Houzz Pro. It was approved right there with the little toggle button by the clients. It was then tracked as it all came in terms of, receiving and inspecting and then later installing everything. And now it's there for our records so that we can refer to that. So it's an invaluable tool. We use it every single day.
Right on. Walk me through the laundry room a little bit. Again, related to the rest of the house, great materials in here.
It's another monkey siding.
Oh, so I see the monkeys now.
I have one.
Oh, that's great. That is so fun. So interlocking monkeys.
They're interlocking monkey tiles. They're handmade, every single one of them, by Good Press Ceramics up in Seattle. She made and painted every single one. She designed it too. Isn't it the greatest? It's everybody's favorite thing.
That is so fun. Were there any requirements for the laundry room? She's like, hey, just, give me a sink, give me this, and just, have fun with it.
A lot of storage in there, which many of us do not have in our laundry rooms. And there's nice light. Those also are original windows that were there. So we just worked around those. So it's a pretty tidy and efficient little space. It's not so large. It has just what you need in a laundry room and nothing more except for walls of monkey tile.
Oh, I love that. What a gorgeous home. That was really a treat. Thank you for taking the time, Susan. And I can't wait to see more of your incredible work. And thank you.
Thank you so much. We love talking about this home, and we are just really grateful for the platform.
Great. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Say bye-bye.